Hey, sweet lovers. So it's so good to be back on another Ask Diva podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. So you can follow me on social media at Miss Diva for you. That is my handle on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, MZDEEVA, the number 4YOU. You also can go to the Facebook page, hashtag ASKDEEVA. You can also find that page on Instagram, hashtag ASKDEEVA. For all things Diva, go to askdiva.onuniverse.com. Thanks, everyone. A friend to tell another friend to tune in to the Ask Diva show. Thank you so much for being a part, and yes, please do that. So you can find the Ask Diva podcast on any platform that you're listening to your podcast on. So thank you so much for coming and doing so and sharing. Yes, tell your friend to tell another friend that they must listen to the show. Lots of relationship hot topics that are going to happen, but we're also going to tackle some of the current events as well. We're going to try to leave some bad habits in 2020 as we move on to the 10-year anniversary. Excited about that. I was looking at the podcast and the life coming from Blog Talk Radio over to the new platforms and being a part of Spreaker and Spotify and YouTube and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts and Castbox and Stitcher, Podcast Addict, and all those great places, right? But coming from all of that, that means when I did all the numbers and I looked at, of course, iLast Radio over there on Apple iTunes had the most listens. So it's like at 65,000 or something like that listens. And then you have the Ask Diva over there getting its little reboot on Blog Talk Radio. So it's got almost 200 listens. And then we come over here and we've got 6,000 listens. And then we've got about 1,200 downloads happening on the Spotify and all the different iHeartRadio and all those different platforms. So I'm excited that you guys have really been doing that. You're telling your friends and they're telling another friend. And that's how the listens are almost at 100,000. The goal is 100,000 for the 10-year anniversary. You have no idea how much that'll rock for me, right? All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that we share. And then we're going to get right into the topic. So today, we're going to be doing some shout outs to some people that submitted a thought that I was like, oh, I'm glad I was brought in on that one because that's one of my favorites. So I was excited to be able to share my little 2 cents, on the topic. So they asked Diva, why do people settle in relationships? So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to go in a little bit into talking the 2020 New Year resolution type life. And we're going to go into some thoughts that I have on that. First, we must shout out Cruz Inc. Radio's Cherry Sherman. She's the one who asked me, what's your take on this question, Diva? So, yeah, I got a take on it. I'm telling you, I have like several different thoughts that came to mind. And, of course, from experience. So I love to, just kind of go into what I've lived, what I haven't lived, or what I would like to live, goals, all those kind of things. So I love answering these questions because either I know it, because I lived it, or I've been under somebody, coached someone that's living it in various situations that give me a little bit of some guru clout, right? All right. So again, shout out to Cruz Inc. Radio's Cherry Sherman. On this, I'm going to read the responses and a few on Facebook that came from Cherry and Christine and more of the Cruz Inc. Radio team. So we're going to be talking, sharing directly from some of the comments that came up, right? So again, the question is, why do people settle in relationships? So you know how we do things here on the Ask Diva podcast. You need to get out your notebook. You need to get out your notebook. You need to write some things down, whether it is not for you because you know how you are. Your relationship is perfect and you don't need little diva advice and who she thinks she is. All that heartbreak she experienced, she far from the expert. So this isn't for you. But you need to write it down because you're going to share it with your coworker girl because her life jacked up, right? So we're going to share it with her. Or this may be for you and you're willing to admit that and you're going to write some things down so that you can go into your journal later and do a little food for thought. Whatever the case, we're going to make something pop with it, right? So here we go. So why do people settle in relationships? One thing I say is to settle is determined only from outsiders that are assessing the ins and outs of the relationship. So in all truth, we could stop right there. We could end the podcast right there if we were just not going to share any other thought and just to be a little selfish about time, because it is New Year's Eve tomorrow and we all need to go get ready, right? But no, seriously, we could stop right there with outsiders assessing the ins and outs of the relationship. It's really not a reliable source, right? So if we're going to have a reliable source, it's only going to be the individuals that are going through the situation. Why is that, Diva? Because the professionals are not going to cancel that relationship by calling in the outsiders first. If we even want to go a step further, because I have a few I have about a dozen counselor friends on my friends list, then they will probably say this, right? So, Diva, we're not even calling the outsiders in the office. It's been real. They may call the children in. They may. Let me not speak for my girls. They may call the children in, or someone that's living in the home or in the environment, heavily influencing the environment, willing to be a part of the solutions to get that person and that other person to a better place. So maybe with the client's permission, they may do that, but it's really highly unlikely that the outsider is going to be brought in. So do you understand now why I say to settle? To determine if a person is settling is really a professional opinion, and it needs to really, it's not going to really be one it's not really going to be one that you can say for sure that person is settling or that person is not settling and be 100% on that, right? That's just an outsider's opinion saying, she's settling. Girl, how much of that life have you lived with them to know that? And how much of that life have they lived to where settling may not be such a bad idea from everything that particular couple has been through? So I know it's not a comfortable one, and I know that's not the fun one, so I like to get that one right on out the way at the beginning of the settle conversation, So it's the outsiders assessing the ins and outs of the relationship. You're deciding it's settling. It may not be settling, especially when the professionals come in, right? All right, so then there's this. I say this, what we may see as the hurt one settling just may have a more complex backstory versus that he or she is simply settling. We do not know the struggles they have endured or overcome together. We do not know if one is just suffering from a breakdown with bad behavior that can be corrected when they come out of that bad behavior. Their story together will determine if one stays with the other, if one falls off. So how much they've been through may make or break whether or not they're going to stay. So what may be looking like settling to you, they may say, you know what, we've been down this road to the point where if I'm not going to be with you, bro, we all dying. There are some moments that you will have in your life, like all of us going over the cliff. I'm not living, you not living, side chick not living, we all gonna die. There are moments like that. You don't know the story behind the story. So you may get the person may just be like, you know what, I have put so much into this, and this is where we're gonna go with this in this season. And then that person may come out of it in another season. It may not be so belittling of a term to say that they're settling. This is just where they want to be at right now. This is what they've decided. And we don't know if they've also done bad behavior too. We're so quick to really attack ladies. We attack the man so quick when they cut up. But, it's the sisters. The relationship may be under some fire right now, but it's some sisters that you participated in that fire beginning, like you lit the match. There are some sisters that will be flirting, will be sleeping with brothers, cousins, uncles, grandpas, sleeping with the policemen, firemen, sleeping with the soldiers, superiors. It's a lot that happens, and so the sister may not be settling. She just might be eating that karma. That karma be hard to chew on. Karma got a friend named Dharma. Isn't that what Cardi B say? So that karma is hard to chew, but she might not be settling. She might just be eating her karma. # eat that karma. Sorry, you guys. That's the 2020. Right? So now we're going to go over recent responses before I continue on. So we're going to read some responses from the Cruz Inc. radio team. So I'm going to go over there real quick and see if I can still pull that up. Awesome. All right. So some of the teams, or I should say people on the page, hopefully they're part of your team. I'm going to read first names. Okay. So Gianna says, because they're lonely. So in the question, again, for people who may have forgotten, the question is, why do people settle in relationships? So Gianna says, because they're lonely, imperfect, want to give and be loved. So Cherry replies to that, Gianna, but if you complain about the same stuff time and time again, and they're showing you that they are not going to change, why stay? Know your worth. And then Gianna said to Cherry, yup, I'm trying to be nice and not flat out say that, just plain stupid, because most times it's the case. And then Cherry says to Gianna, call it what it is. I'm just saying. So then I got called out, so I'm going to share some more of my thoughts on just a moment from Cherry on my thoughts on it. And then Liller, I'm just going to say I need my readers. Liller, I think is that first name, says, Cherry, don't realize it if they're too far in. For example, crude, obnoxious behavior. That's the one to go for behavior with that. For example, crude, obnoxious humor, she said, or he said. I'm sorry, you guys. I had a lot of female friends who always said their mate's gross humor was their way of playing till they found out that was his way of insulting and making fun of her. Ooh, that sounds like negging. I have a podcast I did on negging. I'm not a fan of negging at all. And Lilo says, then turn it around and said that they were too sensitive and can't take a joke. That's sounding like negging. I did a podcast on that, on negging. Not a fan of that at all. It speaks insecurities. It speaks ethos of insecurities, actually, to me. So Christine in Austin, Texas, shout out hometown. Christine said it could be many, many reasons why one settles, but one thing for sure, when they get tired of what they settled on, they eventually let go and move forward. She goes on to say those that never make a change actually do make a change once their time is done. You'll be surprised what one really does behind the scenes to make changes after their time on earth is done. We cannot really judge others for what they are faced with, she says, going through or dealing with. What we can do is just listen and give positive message. She also says share a good cup of hot tea or coffee and a plate of good food. Nourish your body with the love from your soul in a home where food is prepared by love, respect, and understanding. We all have challenges, but when we come together, we can have one good positive moment of time. Girl, yes, I hit her with the Jada Pinkett Red Table Talk finger point on that one because I love that. That's really good. And then Cherry says, but some don't get the positive message. I'm just saying. And Christine replies to Cherry, of course they don't. They won't see the good until they are ready to receive it. This is where folks like us can only do is listen, she says. Christine says, you can always lead a horse to water, but you cannot make them drink it. At times it may be a broken record. She says, same shit, different day, but what they eventually get is you, a friend. I like that. She says, a person who loves beyond their issues, one they can come to just to listen to their issues. You are the positive for them. Even if they don't receive the message being delivered by you, you are the message, and that's the positive. And I got permission from Cherry to share that. So I love that, Cherry. You did that. You did that with that post right there. That one opened some good dialogue and gave us a lot of good food for thought. We needed that, right? So shout out again to Cruz Inc. Radio and their team. So then I continued on with another one. I said, when it comes to why do people settle, mostly it is the matters of the heart. How in love are they? If he or she is still in love, despite what the other did that appears disrespectful to the friend circle, the heart will pull towards forgiving and allowing another chance. So it is the matters of the heart. How deeply in love are they? We talked about that earlier in the podcast. If they really love that person, they've been through a lot with that person, despite what the others did that appears disrespectful to the outsiders, to the friend circle, this couple has decided that the heart's going to pull towards forgiving and allowing another chance. That person has made it up in their mind to give a second chance. We have a podcast on that. If you go to the YouTube, Ask Diva, you'll see 10 reasons for giving second chances. And Honey and I share with you guys on that podcast reasons for second chances on that. So I think it's called 10 Reasons for Giving Second Chances on YouTube. So you can check that out. Spotify also as well. All right, so let's take a little bitty break. And then we're going to give another shout out to Cruz Radio and tell you how to find them on social media.
Okay, I get it. So you do not want to go over to different places all over the place, every podcast app. You don't want to download a bunch of things on your phone, or you just don't have the room on your phone. I solved that for you. So you can go to askdiva.onuniverse.com, go to the podcast page and just click on the various ones, take a listen, or just go to YouTube. Some people don't want to download a bunch of apps. You can just go to YouTube. Ask Diva is on YouTube. So it's various places. I'm trying to make it happen for everyone because you all use different apps. So I understand that. Do what's best for you. I'm going to make the show available on every app that I can.
That's right. All right, you guys. So we're back to the topic. Today's topic is, why do people settle in relationships? And this was a Cruz team discussion going over there on Cherry from Cruz on her post, and we're responding to that and giving some hopefully helpful feedback. And I hope you remembered to get your pen and paper out and write in that journal, because that is important, my lovers. All right, so lastly, I say to this on the settling topic, I say, Diva thinks this. Now, there are those who use the man or woman for their money. Some are using the man or woman for security of a home or a car. Those types just may stay, and that indeed would be settling, or no, for those basic reasons. It's materialistic in nature. Materialistic needs are being met, and that is their only life priority. So they're settling with their self-worth. Like that's just all they need, is to be materialistically fulfilled by someone else's hard work and efforts, and they get off on that, right? So they may just stay for that reason, and the guy is cutting up on them left and right, but the guy is providing materialistic lifestyle that they're so attracted or addicted to that they are willing to continue to allow that to happen just so that they can live that life. There's that, right? And then there's Jay-Z, cheats 35 times. Beyonce don't need his money and can definitely say to the left. And she didn't. She forgave him, right? These things just, you never know which way they're going to go, right? All right, you guys, I told you I was going to tell you how to find Cruz Radio. But first, let's just say this right here for the New Year's message. I told you we would talk about the New Year's resolution. I'm seeing a lot of shade thrown at people on social media regarding New Year's resolutions, and I'm not really sure where you guys stumped that negativity path from. But don't knock people with a New Year's resolution. Like, you may have made some, and you may have follow through or not follow through. But let me tell you what this does. When you try to call out others and say, you guys are not going to stick to that resolution, you already know y'all just making it and not going to do it. You're not, if when you're a critical thinker is listening to you, because I'm not a perfect critical thinker, but I lean in the middle after some training. So I kind of think that I'm in the middle, going towards the higher end of critical thinking. A critical thinker doesn't hear the words that are coming out of your mouth. Right? So when you are doing something negative, a critical thinker knows immediately, because it's in a negative tone, to search for what you may be really trying to say. So a critical thinker hears this, and I'll say my old quote that I've said for years. You guys know it's a t-shirt. When you criticize in others in a negative way, you identify that negativity within yourself. #AskDiva. So I say that quote of mine because I want you to understand that what you're saying about them is something that you've done. You failed at a New Year's resolution. So you think others will as well. Don't do that. This may be their first time ever making a resolution in life. They may have been on a killing spree and never tried to care about anything other than being a sociopath, right? You know, they may be Dude You off of the Netflix series Joe, right? Might be Joe. I have no idea. Like, this may be their first time getting right, so don't knock them. And you have to be careful about your posts, because posts are really they make or break people a lot. They contribute to a lot of breakups and heartaches and pain. And counselors will tell you that they hear Facebook in sessions more often than not. And divorce lawyers will tell you that Facebook isn't like on the top of things that come up when it comes to divorces. Facebook can really, and Twitter and, social media as a whole can really, damper people's lives because they listen to you and they're hearing you and they believe in other things that you post, and then you post something like that and you knock them. They're like, man, I'm not going to set any goals. What are you even saying to tell a person not to set goals? Yeah, what you're criticizing others in a negative way, you identify that negativity within your own self. So what you portray, you have got to try to put out the best that you can put out so that people can try to understand you and where you're at. Because when you're trying to go with the trending negativity, people are going to see that as your inner problems or issues, right? So you have to make sure your voice is heard. When the negativity hits, put your positive spin on it. If you can, right? So here's my New Year's message, right? Regarding your New Year's resolutions and your goals. Look, lovers, I know that many throw shade at those setting new resolutions, but here's what I do and believe. I simply always enjoy the turn of the new year. Love it. It's just a great time. It's just, I don't know, it's always like a door is closing and a new one's opening. You have to just visualize that. And when you can feel that and you go through the next year, you're going to experience something totally different. And every year will give you something different. And if it is not, you need to go seek help because you should not be experiencing the exact same thing year after year. Something has to change, and you have to be willing to change. The greatest miracle that God ever did was to change your mind, right? So I said, I enjoy it. So that's me. I enjoy the turn of the new year to review old goals and set new ones. Remaining the same and on the same path is just not for me. It's downtime at this time of year and time off, so there's no better season to reflect and redirect and, re-strategize and, resilience pops in and next level up, right? That's it. So I want to make sure that to check out those that contributed the topic today, Cruz Radio. So you can find them on Facebook. You can listen to great music, and you can see the community advocacy that happens with the Cruz team, community advocacy and lots of change and support. You get a good visual of how to support small businesses and how to support others and how to show up for events. And you get recommendations that are very good for you, very positive recommendations, a cry out for stopping the violence and things like that are going on over on Cruz Radio. So be sure to go over there and check them out and start supporting. All right, you guys, that's all that I have for today. As Diva fans, I'm going to tell you, close the journal, set some time aside later on in your meditation, or if you missed for today's meditation and your meditation for tomorrow, set your prayers in place. It's New Year's Eve tomorrow, so you want to get ready for all that, right? So tell your friend to tell another friend that I'm going to keep on singing and hurting my viewers and listeners' ears until you guys have more people tuning into the show. So it's going to get to 100,000. We already see it. We're already at the 70,000 range. So we have to just keep on pushing because I'm on different platforms in order for all those listens to happen, because you can't stay in one place, in one community, and expect millions to hear you. Oh, God, no. So that's it on that. So we have to go in different places, different platforms. Just stick to what works for you. But if not, explore a little bit more and give me a listen on as many as you can. There's a YouTube show that I watch called CJ So Cool, and he's always yelling at the kids like, go press play on that YouTube, give me a hit. It's like that. Like, you're just sitting there, you're not doing anything but cleaning your dirty nails out, so can't you just press play? I'm joking, but no, seriously, you guys, just anytime you have some free time, whether you're just doing your squats or jump roping or on your elliptical or on your, whatever you have going on, just can you press play on one of the platforms? And it does wonders for being able to continue. That's it. Thank you so much for supporting Ask Diva. Hashtag ASKDEEVA. Love us. Thank you for being a part.